What up, though, everybody? This is another episode of the Pop Culture 223 podcast. I think this is episode 10,
Season 2, yes, sir.
season 2, episode 10. I got Bear back on the ones and twos.
What up, dude?
We back in the studio getting it all together.
Yep.
Hey, I got a special guest here, man. I'm going to let him introduce himself. But before that, I want to say what up to one of our sponsors, affiliates, Firearm Legal Protection. If you protect yourself, they will protect you. I brought some goodies
Yeah, let me see that there.
for the guest today.
Gotta put that up in there.
You get it. You get it.
We got them in there. We got that up in there. There we go.
Go ahead and get it at the TND.
There we go.
Some little,
Appreciate it, my mans.
So like I said, Firearms Legal Protection is one of the affiliates of the Pop Culture 223 podcast. So protect yourself and they will protect you. They got uncapped legal protections for self-defense, civil, and criminal. So just go ahead and look into them. If you're carrying a firearm, you definitely need some insurance. It's like car insurance. You need it when you need it, right?
Yes, sir.
So I'm gonna let the guest introduce herself. He an OG out here in these streets.
OG out here.
I mean,
baby.
a triple OG. I think he got triple behind his name.
That's all right.
But
T-O-G.
Tandy, go ahead and introduce yourself to the audience, my audience, man.
Hey, good afternoon. William Tandy is my name. Born and raised in Detroit. Been a football coach for the past 25 years. Principal for the past 8 years.
There you go.
Been in education for a good while. Also entrepreneur, owned Club Network. Also own a building downtown where Savannah Blue is now. And just trying to be an entrepreneur, author, but most importantly, a voice for our young people.
So you get all the shots for that one, that last one. You get all the shots for that, for everything you
man,
do. Yeah.
I think Tandy need to get back out here in these streets. That's what I really think. And what was the book? I meant to look it up. And what did the book you wrote? I know you said you were an author. What book was it?
It's called On Life Support. And On Life Support is a book that's describing the plight of black males in the country right now, and the dire need for men, no matter what your capacity is, to get involved with these young brothers so they can see a different way.
All right, we gonna
like
get
that.
Yeah, see, listen, man. I admired Tandy from day one, man. Especially out here with these kids, because I was a coach of the Broncos, sweet green and gold. He was a coach of the Cubs, but it was always love. But I always admired.
So even in them battles, it was still that love though.
Yes,
Well, I was young. We were playing them, or
Right.
Tandy, and then me and my brother, Foot Dog, he played for the Cubs. So we was always. It's crazy. We was always on opposite teams growing up. I
Right.
think we might have played one time together, and that was PAL basketball. And we argued and fought
the whole time.
Whole time.
Oh, the whole time. We can never be on the court together. But like I said, I always admired you, Tandy, for just the
Appreciate
command you can get from the young boys, and regardless of what background they came from, meaning like suburb, the hood, because the Cubs was on Linwood,
Yes, sir.
deep in there. So you came across all types, and it was crazy from the time I remember the Cubs until after you left. I can't remember one incident that ever happened that was newsworthy, except like 2 years ago.
Absolutely.
They had that incident up there, that shooting,
Yep.
and I was like, I can't remember when Tanny was there that popped off. Not to say
Right.
you might have been involved, but just your presence on that field
Right.
kept a lot of things at bay. But I mean, not just my perception of the
Well, what it was, KJ, is that we didn't just deal with the players that were up there. We dealt with the boys off Linwood. We dealt with the boys off Dexter. And we had gentlemen that grew up and that was a part that separated themselves from the game. And even those that were still involved in the game, they understood McKay Field was a sacred place. So we had a brother named Hezekiah who, just was phenomenal, but he ran Dexter. And everybody knew you don't come up on Dexter with it. Everybody knew off Linwood, you don't come up here with that. So you got to reach your hand out to those that look like you, act like you, knows that, are opposed to you. But there can be a relationship.
Yes,
and there
sir.
can be a bond that can be established
100%.
through trust and mutuality that will prevent that kind of stuff from happening.
So yeah, we gonna get deep into that. So current events. Yeah, everybody seen the mass shooting up at MA, right?
It's
So
crazy, man.
it was 18 dead, 13 wounded. This dude hit.
So they didn't raise the number. It was 18 now.
It's 18 dead. That I was 18 dead, 13 wounded.
Mm.
Yep.
He hit 3 different locations. Now Maine is like, and I want to say the lady that came on there was a Democrat. And what's crazy is they have no laws about you can carry a gun, open carry. You don't need no
Right.
CPL. There's no red flag laws even at the small. It's nothing. It's just wild west
Right.
out there.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I was just crazy because it was a Democrat that the lady. I think she was a Democrat. I think I want to say she was a mayor, but because she was a Democrat, it's no regulations out there. But I know they about to get hit with a whole bunch.
And that's the wild, because you know me. I always call us a purple state, but it's like we're not the only one that's like that. You know what I'm saying? And that's evidence after reading and seeing that Maine is another one of them purplish states where, because I think a lot of their voters are Republican though.
They are.
But to have
And
that
the
type of,
government is Republican.
that's what I thought. But to have that type of, you know what I'm saying, still be like that.
So let me ask you this: how many mass shootings you think have been in 2023?
Over 500. Over 500.
What you say, Bear? What you say, Bear? How many mass shootings has it been in 2023?
So to make it good for the show, I'm gonna take a wild guess and say, because I know how they lump it and do it. Let's say 600.
Well, let me say this: Tandy closer, you are. Well, I guess everybody close. It's been 565 mass shootings
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
in 2023. So it's been almost more mass shooting than days in 2023.
It
And they
is.
classify-
It's almost double it.
Right,
They
right.
classify mass shooting as 4 or more people being shot or killed in an incident.
Oh, so it's 4? I thought it was 2.
Well, this is just going. Just some of the stuff I looked
Yeah,
up.
that's why I went so high.
Well, only why
it could be 4 though. It could
you remind you numbers, and I don't know if it's current or like it's continuing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's 4 or more. So what 2 states you think is at the top?
I would probably say Illinois and Texas. That's just a guess.
That got the most mass shootings.
See, mine was
Illinois meaning what?
You said it's the state.
state.
Okay.
He said
Illinois,
state, so
right.
state of Illinois. See, and that's funny because I want to put Cali on there because it's so obvious, but
Yeah.
I got a funny feeling. So I'm gonna say California and Texas only because of the size and the population and the per capita.
Yeah, it makes sense.
So Philly and Chicago. Got the
So
most
so
mass
it's
shootings.
city,
Illinois.
so it's city, not so from state
Well,
to be Illinois.
when I
until
said
Delta,
it, when I said I just assuming he was gonna say Chicago.
Right,
You
okay.
know what I'm saying? Like, Chicago is a state.
Chicago is a city, right?
Chicago ain't the city. Chicago is a state.
Yeah, we had this conversation.
I like that. I'm going to Illinois. You going to Chicago?
Right.
I think we had this conversation.
Right.
Well, the state
Where you
of
live at? I
the
live
state
in
of
Detroit.
Chicago.
No, you said I live in Michigan. No, I live in Detroit. I was saying the state of Detroit, homie.
But you know what though, I wanted to say that too with Illinois, with Chicago, but I was going by the per capita numbers.
Man,
You know what I'm saying? Because there's so many people in California, so many people in Texas that
Dallas
you would
is
think,
huge, but we talking about regardless,
No,
gunfire is
no.
gunfire. You know, if
Right.
they getting active, they getting active.
yeah,
Now, you know, I knew Philly. I know somebody gonna say Philly was a shoe in.
I wouldn't have thought Philly would have been that high. I thought they'd have been high, but not like one or one,
I
two.
figured
you know
Chicago.
what I
I
mean?
just like
Chicago,
I said.
yeah, unfortunately.
I was just.
If I was looking at cities, I would have said Cali and Chicago.
Yeah.
And I thought New York would be
right,
right under that. I didn't think Philly.
Well, and I think it's probably because it's 4 or more.
Right.
So
yeah, and that's the and that's the whole. See, and that's why I said I thought it was 2 as well. But it makes sense with the 4 because I know they hate to hear this, but like shout out to my Chicagoans. You know what I'm saying? We beef or whatever, Detroit, Chicago thing, yada yada, whatever. But they hate to hear that Chirac thing, but it's kind of like what it is though. I mean, you got people like you said, and they number 1 on the list like that, man. That's crazy, but
Well,
that's what it is.
well, they give you a map and it's like a bunch of numbers on the map. Like this is just some like preliminary research I was doing. So they just show you what's current and numbers, and I just pulled those 2 out because people can relate Chicago.
And they
Philadelphia.
were the 2 highest though, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So another question, Tanny. What I know you, I had posted something on Facebook or something. Tanny called me. I posted that staccato. He was like, "Man, what is that?" I like that thing. So, and I know Tandy. What do you feel about carrying a firearm
Take
or
non-quail, hook him up, man.
or just the thought of that, like carrying it, or self protection, protecting yourself, having the ability and the mindset to do it. What's your thoughts on that?
See, I'm glad we're going here because the public thinks that Democrats or black people are anti-protection. I have a CPL, and I've always carried a pistol. Even when I was young and I shouldn't have been carrying a pistol, I was carrying a pistol, right? And so I think everyone should have the right to protect their homes, their families, and their personal property.
Right.
What I don't agree with is someone being able to go get an AR-15 that have mental issues. What I don't agree with is so many people having assault weapons that can do way more harm to people than you need for your protection. I got a shotgun at the house. I don't think you're going to come in when you hear that, right? And so if it's self-defense, it's self-defense. And so I think it is responsible gun owners, and there's those people that are not. And so I've always been okay with having to go through a background check. I've always been okay with making sure that there's no issues going on while you're carrying your gun in order to have it. But I'm totally in support of, gun laws and gun rules.
And what was crazy about the main situation was that it was a bunch of red flags on him
Absolutely.
that probably should have been looked into more.
Absolutely.
And it got, kind of, I say, in my opinion, kind of like brushed through he just went through it didn't get caught. Even with most of the mass shootings around, there's always been mental issues with them. So
Right.
at what point does the legal system or the system kind of take care of that, opposed to saying they shouldn't be touching these firearms? I mean, they shouldn't have these, opposed to they should have been dealt with in a different kind of capacity.
Politicians got to stop being punks and letting the NRA control and rule them, right? But see, the issue is you've got in the Caucasian neighborhoods those type of issues. In the black neighborhoods, it's not people with mental issues. It's people that don't love themselves and don't love the people that they see.
That's still many issues.
When you don't love yourself, you have no problems with taking a gun and shooting everything in sight. Right? And so it's not, and you notice in Chicago, we're not calling it mass murders. We're not calling it that, right? Because it's just normality for them now, right? It's okay for us to be on the south side of Chicago and 4 Bloods got killed, or 4, whatever the gangs are now in Chicago, 4 or 5 of them got hit. It's no problems now, because as long as it is occurring over there where people of color is dying, they don't say anything. And we're not going to have reform until more incidents like this occur in those neighborhoods where politicians are going to get more heat for not protecting their people.
But yeah, true. But I just don't like it when they say they put the firearm in with the violence, opposed to just it's a mental health issue, or just violence. Because
absolutely, it is.
See, I think for me is, and I think we kind of hitting on the same. It's not the reform, it's the type of reform.
Absolutely,
because like you said, like, I'm not opposed to anybody having anything. Like I tell people, I don't really get into politics because I don't, float the whole yes, nay, whatever. But like you just said, I'm one of them in the middle dudes. You know what I'm saying? I tend to sway or be independent as a voter, but because of today's times, I still will vote more Democratic, or Democrat versus Republican. But I do see a lot of certain Republican views, old school Republican views that do make sense. I'll tell folks in a minute, Reagan was probably one of the best presidents I've ever seen in my, 40 some odd years of being on this earth. But that was a different time and it's different stuff. But what I'm getting at is, like you just said, not all Democrats hate guns and so forth, because I'm one of the biggest gun nuts out here. You know what I'm saying? That
but
I know.
Our parents and our grandparents were always socially conservative.
Yeah. Yeah.
We were financially liberal,
Mm-hmm.
right? But
Mm-hmm.
my mama's not for gay marriage. You know what I'm saying? My mom is just not going to support that.
Right.
My mom wasn't for abortions, right? But she
Mhm.
thought that everybody should get help.
Right.
So I'm more like you. I'm in the middle,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And sometimes my biggest issues, I can't not look at the individual. Like,
Right.
you know, Trump is a knucklehead,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and Biden is past his time.
Right.
And so we've got
Right.
two people. Neither one of them should be in
Right,
office.
neither one.
My personal opinion.
Right. Right. Same.
Yeah,
Same.
but back to what you said. I agree with you, KJ. It's not the gun, it's the person,
Mm-hmm.
right? But when we are low, so gun reform would not solve Chicago. That's not going to help that, because if I'm a Crip and I need to get 10 AR-15s, I'm not going to the store to go buy them.
Right. And
Right.
and that's what I think out and see we all on the same page because that's where I was headed when I said what does the gun reform look like, because that's not gun reform
Right.
from what they're trying to do is not going to solve that issue.
Right. We've got to have social reform.
Mm-hmm.
We've got to have mind reform. We've got to deprogram our people.
Preach, brother.
That's what we've got to get to.
Hey, let me tell you something, man. Tandy is can he talk that talk, baby? That's what I'm saying. He need to get back out here in these streets. Tandy can talk that talk, man. Like you said, yeah. I just don't tell me what I can and can't do, especially if I'm a upstanding citizen, I'm a
Mhm.
responsible gun owner, responsible citizen, whatever. Just do some research, get in the streets. You know what I'm saying? Talk to people, see what's really going on. I think
Right.
it's more of the person than it is the tool.
Mm-hmm.
At any state, like if a evil person got evil in him, he's gonna find something to do evil with. He's gonna find out some tool to do evil with, regardless of what it is.
Absolutely.
So I don't, you know what I'm saying, necessarily think. I just hate when when I seen that, it's like, oh, they coming for the guns. They coming for the guns. But then I heard a lady say that her daughter felt better because she was carrying a firearm in the
She's
house.
armed, yeah.
Her daughter felt more safe because of the firearm in the house, and even the situation could have been further away from their home, but the daughter felt safe. I was like, okay, see, here we
Right.
go.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? She felt safe because her mother could protect her. So, you know, I just thought that that was cool. Have you talked to your kids or your daughter about I remember you had mentioned that. Have you taken
Yeah,
them?
I'm about to get in the range now.
Okay.
Yep.
What-
I think she needs to know how to defend herself. I think she needs to know how to handle a pistol. And you know, the moment she turns 21, I'm gonna make sure she gets her
Okay.
license.
Give some shots for that. Erica's big day, baby.
Yes, sir.
So what do you
Gotta
carry,
love it.
Tandy? What's your flavor? What you think he got? What you think he got, Bear? What you think he carry? Like he a
Man,
triple
listen,
OG.
It's a triple OG. So he probably like my granddaddy used to be, man. He one of them dudes. He got that nice pearl handle, pretty 38 on him and stuff. The one that just get a nigga up off him type of. Or
One of them.
or it's that 357 mag. No.
Hey man, like he said, we ain't gonna reveal all his secrets and toys.
Yep. Well, I tell you that 38. That's
That's comfortable.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
when
yeah,
I'm in
yeah,
sweats
yeah,
and
yeah.
that kind of thing is
Yeah,
small. And
yeah.
again, all I'm trying to do is what you just said: get
Yeah.
them off of me.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So the like I said, we ain't gonna give all his secrets. He said he had a home defense shotgun, everything cool with that.
Mhm.
So talk to me a little bit about God, ball, and Bible.
I don't know what that is, KJ. You just
I mess
messed
it up?
all it. God, books, and ball.
God, books, and ball. I put it.
KJ gave you a new one there.
Right.
You know, he gave you a new one.
God, Bible, and the Bible Belt. Right now. So KJ, one of the things that happens when you have 40 and 50 souls in your presence, Monday through Saturday, 5 months a week, 5 months a year, you've got to give them more than X's and O's. Black boys without God, to me, is like fish without water.
Mm.
And the spiritual connection is that is designed to make sure that young people do not do certain things that will harm themselves,
Mm-hmm.
that will put them in harm's way. There's a right way to do the wrong thing. Look, I understand. I've been 15.
Mm-hmm.
I've been 16. And what always saved me was a conscience,
Mm.
right? So did it stop me from having sex before I got married? No. Right? I'm just being real. Right? Was my spirituality so in tune that I waited until I was married before I lost my virginity? But what it did is when me and my boys was on Linwood and somebody got knocked out, I didn't stump him out.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because there was a conscience.
Mm-hmm.
There was never a desire for me to kill someone.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And so God, books, and ball is the ability to make sure that a person understands that first, the Almighty God, our Lord and Savior, should be the head of your household. You should govern your life by that. The things that you should do should be based on that. And then if you're an athlete that's trying to make it to that next level, you can't put a $190 Rydell helmet on a 10-cent brain.
Mm.
So you got to get the books in. You got to hit the books because regardless of your talent ability, you've got to score a certain score. You got to have a certain GPA. And then your ball. And that ball can be music. That ball can be football. That ball can be basketball. But if you put God and books first and you carry yourself in that way, the likelihood of you being more successful in life, it increases. So I don't make it to college to play football. But I graduated from high school. I got an ability to go climb the trees on DTE. I got an ability to become a police officer. I've got an ability to make a career out of something because at 16, I don't have a gun charge. At 17, I didn't rape anybody. And, I didn't get caught up in a drive-by, right? And so GBB is not just what we say, man. It is a way of life. It is a guidance. It is an ability to say, look, man, do things correctly. Love thyself as you should love your neighbors, right? Love your neighbors as you should love thyself. What does that really mean? Man, I don't know you. I met you today.
Right.
But there's a respect that I'm going to have for you already.
All day,
right?
yeah.
Period,
Same,
because you
same.
are my brother.
Exactly.
Right? Same thing with you. KJ, I met you as soon as we met each other, we became cool. I wasn't looking at your wife. I wasn't trying to get things from out of your home. I respected you. There was a relationship because love is going to be first. And that's the whole basis, man. If people quit just throwing out, Christianity, Muslim, whatever it is, love is the basis of it all. And so we got to quit letting brothers think you soft because you love. We got to quit letting these brothers think in the street that, we pulling your whole card because we are telling you to be respectful.
Right.
But the only way that happens is that men show boys what it is to be a man.
100%, man.
Boys are born, men are made.
100%, man. Hey, I know we don't give him much, but you get that applause on that boy. That's
It's funny.
100%.
It's funny that Tandy said he was growing up in the hood and he didn't stump him out or have what are you saying? And that's how I was growing up in Brightmore. Especially around Foot Dog and us. Tandy can say they be like Foot was doing this and that. They be like, where was KJ at? I was at the crib or mom. We was in church or somewhere on at E-Course doing something else, but. I like I said, I had the church, we grew up in the church. So I kind of had the wherewithal and the mind like, okay, this is a little bit maybe too much or, this ain't what it was. But I still hung around the homies. But, you still got to have the wherewithal in your mindset like, okay, let me get back to the crib because it's getting late or whatever. Because I had a little bit of grown up in me. And it's just funny that you said it because that's basically how it was. You know what I'm saying? Where we was growing up at. The same.
But how did that happen? Because you had a mother,
father.
Respectful. But even if you didn't have the father.
Right.
See, people keep talking about the family structure with the lack of men. Man, that's been since the beginning of time. Why we're so chaotic now is because the mothers have lost their minds. We got mothers that's still tricking. We got mothers that's still trying to be hoes instead of trying to be moms, man. And so the whole spirit of creation comes from the woman.
Mm-hmm.
And so when a woman has lost it, the whole family structure just dissipates. And so the biggest issue that the black community is facing now is the lack of responsible, respectful women that nurture and love and care for their children. Your mom was not going to let you do that, KJ.
True.
Period. I lost my dad at 12. My mom was still knocking my head.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Like for real, man. That's one of the other issues.
And we tell this story, and Foot can attest to this. We had a homie named Ronald. He was a big homie, man. He used to whoop. He was the big homie. He used to whoop me and Foot up, just wrestling. He always wanted to wrestle, but we was at a situation, a little party in the neighborhood. I told him, look, man, it's getting late. Whoop, whoop, it's late. And I'm just like, look, I got to get to the crib. Mom, dude's going to be looking for me. I tried to pull him with me. I tried to take him with me, but he was like, nah, man, I can't go to your crib, man. I'm drunk. I don't want to disrespect your mom like that. 12 hours later, I got the phone call. He got shot in the head and killed. I was with him, like literally with him. Next to him, like, man, let's go, let's go, let's go. I tell that story, but and me being 12 or 11, I didn't really think none of it because it was so much of that around in the neighborhood.
Right.
But as I get older, I was talking, just like, man, you lost a homie. You could have been there with him. You could have seen it, or something else could have happened with you. But like you said, Mom Deuce was like, hey, it was late. She let me stay out, but it was getting later, and I knew I had to get to the crib because you know what I'm saying. Something was. I knew it was gonna be my ass. If I 1 minute later, it's been my ass. So.
Yep.
So what you think is that a solution you think that can help these kids nowadays?
Oh,
With all this craziness?
absolutely. Absolutely. We can't become what we can't see or touch. Imagine Michael Phelps trying to become a swimmer if he never had access to a pool. Right?
Mm.
And so in order for young boys to want to get out of the streets, they've got to see somebody else that's not in the streets that's making it.
Right.
But do you think do we got enough resources in the city that's promoting that or giving that?
No, it's got to be us.
Mhm.
We can never wait on the city. It's got to be black men. It's got to be them cats that left and went out to Bloomfield and Southfield. They got to come back and help. They got to be the ones. Trying to do resources for city, no.
So I want you to listen to this, Tanny, and just tell me what your thoughts are. We played it last week and we kind of comment on it, but I was just like, I want Tanny to come on here and hear this, and then and you give me your thoughts, because I think it's a lot of like these kids nowadays, this mental health issue, like a guidance, it's a whole bunch, and I think like you said, black men got to come back, step up. And we were talking about this, like OGs got to come back and kind of teach these kids give them some game.
Right.
And teach them it's a different, better way. You
Ready?
Go ahead.
All right. We're gonna run this clip.
When I go into the JDC, when I have boys looking at me telling me I can make $500, $600, $700 a day or more in 3 hours, stealing your gun out your car, robbing you, get real quick, and then I'm at home chilling, and I'm on the Xbox, I'm on the PS5 for the rest of the day chilling, while you out here busting your butt every day to work. I can make this in a few hours. What do you tell that kid? My mama's struggling, we're hungry, but I can go out here in 3 hours, get the money, feed my mama, and our life's not gonna be off? And you telling me to go to school, work hard, and you're a college graduate, you're a teacher, and you struggling. I go into JDC, I had boys tell me I'd rather live 25 years and kick it and have everything I want than struggle for 70. What do you tell that kid? My mama can't afford to put Jordans on my feet, but I can go out here and make one hit, and I can buy Jordans for all my siblings.
And they don't care if they lose their life or anything.
No, they're not afraid. And that's why I'm afraid, because they really aren't afraid.
What Pac say? You out here doing 25 shots like 25 to life ain't cross your mind?
And that's the reality of a lot of folks. But what do you do with that? You got to change the way they think. And that's what I'm saying about deprogramming. Let's go on my clinical side for a minute. For black males and for males, period, the frontal lobe is the slowest part to develop. And that's if you've never had any kind of substance in your bodies from your parents, not smoking weed or anything. The frontal lobe is the part of the brain that rationalizes, that reacts, right? Why do you think they draft 18-year-olds? Because you can tell them go through that wall and they won't think twice. A 30-year-old gonna be like, man, you crazy as hell, right? Right?
True.
And so now you got young boys that have been exposed to a glamorous life.
Mm-hmm.
And they have no idea of the consequences because they don't think past today. Their brains are not even developed enough
Mm-hmm.
to be able to understand cause and effect,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so if all they see, I'm gonna go back for a minute. You remember how Foot and y'all used to talk about, like, man, Tandy come up with the Benz. You know, Tandy had the sweet house.
Tandy got me out of this situation. Tandy, I was almost gone that day, but Tandy pulled up. I'm like, wait a minute, what?
Right. You know what I'm saying? And so kids looked at me with the Mercedes Benz and the big house and they became curious, right? But if they don't see nobody getting over that did it this way, why would I choose that?
Mm-hmm.
If all I see is pimps and drug dealers and hustlers and folks swiping, what other choice do I have? Yeah, I'd rather have Jordans than to see this bum. But what about when they finally see the engineer making $210,000 wearing the Gators and living in Palmer Woods that walk like they walk, talk like they talk, holding on with swag? They go, wait a minute. It's another way. So it's exposure. In my books, I talk about all black boys also need legs, LEGGS, love, exposure, guide, guidance, and structure, right? But we talked about the love. Now let's expose them.
Mm-hmm.
Let them see something different. Man, it's young brothers out here making it. But cats in E-Courts don't see it.
Mm-hmm.
Cats on Dexter don't see it because their neighborhoods are surrounded with plight.
See, and to add to that, I think it's the exposure to the other side, but also finding a way to hit home about I don't want to say the death trap, but the death trap of what that path is. You know what I'm saying? You're not concerned about 25 years later or 5 years later and so forth, but what about the fact that, okay, you and I'm use that clip as a reference. You done hit him for the 700-800. You done paid mom's bills for the month. What about next month?
Right.
What you supposed to do when you run up on the wrong one and you get put down?
When they run up on one of y'all.
That's that.
Right.
I ain't want to say it. That's why I said the
No,
wrong.
I mean, but I'm just being real.
Yeah, but that's why I said the wrong one or the right one. You know what I'm saying? And it come to that. And one of us got to put you down, or somebody that's a CPO holder like yourself, or anybody. Now, what happens next month and the month after that? Who takes care of mama then? Somebody has to be there to, in addition to what you're saying, take that road as well. That part of exposure to say, hey, here's a different way to do it, and here's why. I hate to sound like Stephen A. with the here's why, but
Right.
but that's it though. Like, here's the other side of the coin. Like you said, the engineer that's doing this, the Demores and the Gators and da-da-da-da. But here's why the engineer is doing it, because he can take care of moms until moms ain't here.
Right.
And then his family and so forth, versus past that first month or whatever. You're not looking further ahead.
Because all boys think the hot stove is a joke until they get burnt.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You know what I'm saying? They look at a hot stove and then they touch it and they realize.
Mm-hmm.
So you know the old rap song, I never seen a man cry till I seen that man die?
Scarface.
Hey man, they and you gotta understand, I'm exposed to it. I've seen it.
Mm-hmm.
Them young boys fighting like ever to live. They don't want to die. They talk that mess until that bullet is in their body.
Mm-hmm.
They talk that mess until they say, you see how them kids fighting when they getting 20 years?
Mm-hmm.
And you know, you're a young boy, you buying Jordans for what? For girls.
Right.
Right? Now you in jail with no girls.
Mm-hmm.
It ain't no but boys for 25.
Mhm.
Now what? You know what I'm saying?
Now what?
Like,
What you gonna do?
Right. And so it's the ability to take young men
I got you.
and deprogram them.
Mm-hmm.
Because the radio, the TV, the music is all programming. Right? We choose death over life at every opportunity. We don't drink water, we drink pop. We don't eat vegetables, we eat hot toddies.
Mm.
We don't listen to gospel. We listen to hardcore. My booty hole, bro. Come on, man. I mean, come on.
So you think the music, well, the media and the music got a lot to do with some
Man,
of this?
come on. Beethoven said it back in the day. As goes our music, goes our society. Period. As a club owner, bro. I mean, let's talk real. As a club owner, at 1:30, I'm putting on R. Kelly. I'm putting on love music. And it takes all them dudes to a whole different mindset. Let me tear the club up at 1:30.
Right. Right.
Let me push the bump in my lap at all time. I can't play that at 1:30.
Hey, I can tell you as a former security dude in clubs.
Wait a minute.
Yes.
Why he been why he been showing his age? He went from Gators to keep the pumping like all time. These kids is wearing Dolce & Gabbana, Chanel, whatever them big ass looking shoes look like. What them big ass shoes that look like
Balenciagas or whatever?
look like snowshoes. Nigga, like you can go move snow on them. The shoes is big, wider than your ankles.
Right.
What are you doing?
Right.
He told his age. He was just like,
I know about Balenciaga. I know about all that stuff. But you know, it ain't gonna come to my mind.
Right. You go to what you know.
Think about it.
But it's funny. It's funny because my wife, she work at Floods. God bless her heart, and she say, "Look, it's a different vibe when a certain music come on, but when they start playing that ratchet, it take off."
Hey, listen. It is no question that music is a spiritual thing. You feel it. It goes into your mind, right? And if just think about your own self. If we sat down somewhere and played 3 love songs back to back, we calling up our wives. If we single, we trying to call up something, right? If we hearing something else, it get us hyped and get us geeked. So think about now. We talked about the frontal lobe. I'm 13 years old, and I'm listening to all day, all night. Right? That's why it's 12, 24, 36, 48. The mama 12, the grandma 24, the great-grandmama 36, the great-great-grandmama 48 now. Right? Because that
I'm laughing because that's a shame, but that's you ain't playing.
And it's because what they're programmed to do. So imagine when we begin to deprogram.
But you know, and I think because I struggle with that whole, I don't want to say theory, but that whole competency of what you just said. And it's not that what you said is wrong, but here's why I struggle with that, because it goes back to something you said originally too. And it's not, okay, I'm going to say it this way. We grew up with all of that same shit because you just took it back to a rapper whose name was 12 Gauge, or the song talking about some pistol grip pump on my lap at all time. We came up with all that. And while we did have some people from our different eras that did go down that path, it wasn't as prevalent as it is now. And I think what the difference is, we had people like yourself, our parents, grandparents, the older brothers, you know what I'm saying?
Balance.
The older gods, however you want to put them or whatever, that literally was like, yo, basically to some kind of way let you know that's entertainment, dog. You know what I'm saying? This ain't always reality. There's a balance to it, like
Absolutely.
you said. And now I don't think they have that same balance and guidance
Because
to be like,
their mamas listening to it, bro.
That's what I'm saying.
Their moms are listening. Their grandmamas are listening to it. Their grandmamas twerking.
Yeah.
I see it on TikTok.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, think about it. So where is the balance? If all I get is garbage in, garbage in, garbage in, I can't produce nothing but garbage.
Like I tell I talk to my son, right? So I tell him, he walk around rapping his music, whatever. And my mom say my daughter's more 313 than my son, right? But I say, son, you gotta filter out what's real and what's not. You know what I'm saying? You can't just assume. You taking a lot of stuff and you repeating it. Remember, that's in your subconscious.
Right.
You talking about scamming and da. Remember, you scamming, but you hurting somebody. Like you ain't scamming you ain't scamming somebody that ain't hurting their financial situation. Like you hurting somebody.
Right.
Like you taking. I mean, not that he's doing it, but I'm saying the people that scamming is hurting somebody.
Right.
They hurting somebody's profile or credit, however you want to look at it. They hurting somebody. So you're not just getting away with it, although the system's probably gonna get the money back, but you hurting somebody.
Did y'all see that clip with Michael Irvin?
Mm-mm.
Michael Irvin has a clip out right now on TikTok or whatever, and he's talking about his son.
Oh yeah.
I
He
think
said he talking
I
all
didn't
that.
see the full, but I think I know exactly what you're talking about.
Right,
Though, yeah.
and he's like, "Here, my boy, you've grown up, the son of a millionaire, in a gated community.
Yeah, he was like, you lived in a gated community, dog. You
And
ain't
you walking around here making music like you a thug,
like you Spice One,
Right.
dog. What you?
because everybody thinks that's what's cool."
You know what else the problem with that is too, and it's not just the cool, it's the fact that a lot of the behind the scenes of the business stuff has gotten out, and so now a lot of people know that that's what sells,
And it's planned.
right? And because they know that that's what sells, you got the Michael Irvin sons that's making that, and he was like, dog, wait a minute. Like you said, dog, you grew up in a gated community.
Right.
Kobe and Shaq was your neighbors and all
Right,
kind of, you know what I'm
right.
saying? Which I've driven through Calabasas before on
Right.
some other stuff in another lifetime, and I can tell you, yeah, dog, nah, that ain't you. You come out better sounding like Will Smith or Jack Harlow or somebody that's less, street, and still be cool with it. You know what I'm saying? But people know that that's what sells though, so they like, yo, I want to make this bread and I want to be successful. Big air quotes there with all that. And that's the path they try to go down. And it's like, man,
They're being hoodwinked.
they're
man.
being hoodwinked
So,
completely.
So Tanny, answer me this: since I didn't even know you was a principal at E-Course, so has it been some situations you had to step into
Oh yeah.
where because of your background and where you come from and who you are, stepped in opposed to calling the police and getting them
Oh
involved?
yeah. Absolutely.
Mm.
Several times. Often.
Can you give a
But can I
scenario?
tell you this though? My school now, man, when you walk in it, quiet. Kids are orderly. Kids are not vaping. Kids are not fighting. That school was off the hook when I got there. What did I do?
He came
I
in and
brought in men.
He came and put foot down.
Yeah, right. I got men in math, men in science.
That's what's up.
I got black men walking around that building, and my vernacular in the beginning was just like it was in the hood.
You gave them a positive influence, especially the males, to see somebody that looks like them doing what they
Absolutely.
need to be doing and being successful. That's genius.
And I had a situation where I had a cat come up there that was out of control, and I looked him in his eye twice and said, "Brother, it's not going to end the way you think it's going to end."
He was a student, or he was
Oh no. This was a parent of a knucklehead. A parent. Can I tell you the difference though, man? I don't get respect out of kids because I'm 6'4", 300 pounds.
Right.
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 I'm 5'7", 208, and I'm almost 60. Right. And I got big boys. They know I love them. They know I care about them. When I say, man, sit your ass down, they know it's out of love.
Right.
Because I establish relationships first.
Right.
I establish what we are and who we are.
Right.
And so expectations are here now.
Right.
And they respond to it because it's structure,
Mm-hmm.
because it's love, because it's guidance. I don't just walk in a room and just try to put it on the table. Come on, man. Even when I was at the high school, man, daggone near every kid in the building was bigger than me.
Mm-hmm.
But I could walk through that hall and go off, and they run.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because it's a relationship
Mm-hmm.
first. So my school is in order because the expectations are in order, are in place.
That's what's up.
You came in a boy like Joe Clark, huh?
I had to, man. I had to. I got complaints. I got folks complaining, and now they walk in, they understand.
That's what's
They
up,
understand.
man.
So you've been there for 5 years.
Yes, sir. This is my 5th year.
I thought you one year at middle school before that.
I was at a high school before that. I was at Delta Prep.
Okay.
So you're in middle school now.
Yep, I'm at a middle school now and love it.
Middle school. Let me say this.
5th grade
Yeah.
through 8th. I mean, I love it, bro. And I hate when.
That's the time to get them and
Right.
shake
I was about
them
to
up,
say
yeah.
that middle school is right there where you
Yeah.
need to change. That can change
Yeah.
the
Absolutely.
trajectory
Dynamic
of their
in
life.
The trajectory, yeah.
They can
yeah.
definitely change the trajectory of their life.
Yep.
Definitely. The I just thought about this.
What, KJ?
And I'm gonna ask him, and I'm in all honesty, I'm gonna ask for a dog. I was just wondering, what did you? Cause like you said, it was wild back. From where he was at, where we gonna, it was wild. And some, what I'm saying, his background and history. You think that your influence on him changed where he could have been and where he at now?
I think I played a part. I do. I think I played a part. Man, I think Blackburn played a part.
Oh, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? I think men
At Persian, the whole
yeah,
football.
right.
Story,
So it was almost like a 440 relay, right?
yeah.
He went to one man, they passed him off to me. I passed him off to somebody else, they passed him off to somebody else. But what was blessings for Foot is when you think about Coach Thompson and Blackburn, men of God.
They stayed on him though.
Right, yep. And they stayed on. Man, Foot was the perfect example of choices. He could have easily been. Come on, y'all know Larry, man. He could have easily been at the state pen instead of a Penn State. Right? Easily. You know, he was a wild boy. But you had people that kept loving on him and kept guiding him. Man, I remember pulling Larry off to the side and doing almost that old school thing, man, where I showed him a mansion and a Super Bowl trophy and said, man, you got this. This is where you can be if you.
What, high school or college?
This is Little League, man.
Little League?
Little
Okay.
League. And I put it in his helmet before the movie came out. Real talk. Before that happened, he was walking around with that in his head.
Right.
Because I saw it, man. I knew he could be a Division I ball player.
Right.
Look where he at.
Yep. But then when he left me, you had Blackburn and Coach Thompson. Then you had Campbell, Soup at Michigan.
Right.
Always men in the right place. But he listened. But more importantly, did he not listen? He was spiritually connected. He was a word of faith boy.
Yeah,
you know,
he was.
you know what I'm saying? And so all of that, and that's that GBB.
Mm-hmm.
That God that books in that ball.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I definitely think I played a part. But, you know, man, a lot of it has to do with his dad and the other men that were around him.
It takes a village, man, especially when
no
you
question.
see men in that. Because I know what you mean. Because I'm the same way with my son. So I know he is with his. Like, it's funny because we recently met. We got, you know, common people and so forth, but we recently connected and met like last year or some shit, right? But then just through talking and getting to know each other, we got like a lot of similarities in our family dynamics. You know, one kid sport, one kid, you know, special need, blah 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 blah, so forth. Married, guns, a lot of, you know, a whole lot of
guns
stuff.
brought us together.
Right.
Like, it's crazy. Firearms brings brothers together.
Guns brought us together for real.
Married and guns.
Right. Guns brought us together.
Firearms brought us together. That's crazy.
It's crazy, right?
It ain't breaking us apart. It's bringing us together.
But just knowing everything, and it's like you said, I had to take a step back and realize, and I did this a lot younger because my son's 12, and my son plays golf. And I let my son play golf because I saw something in him at 3. And he did something, and that was like, you know what? I ain't even never showed you that. So for you to know how to do that and to do it well, you know what? We're going to run with this. So it's never been, I want him to play football, basketball. I'm always been a big advocate. Do what's best for you and what you're good at, and I don't want to force. So it'd be a lot of times when I tell him stuff about his swing and how to do it, he don't want to listen to me. But his coach, though, say it'd be the exact same thing. He do it. He on it. Coach said this, and Coach John Boo. So I don't mind having that other male influence. I'm not that dad or that man that's uncomfortable with another man being able to coach or teach or give a word or something to my son. Because I know it takes a village. You know what I mean? It's not just me.
He says the exact same thing that you say, but when the coach says it, it's like,
Right.
And you know what the blessing with Larry was? That's his dad.
Right.
Larry was the same. Big Larry was the same way. Larry would say, Tandy, man, I don't know nothing about that. Man, you take him. You get him. And it's still like that.
Right.
Big Larry calls me now when we think something is, you know, if Foot is tripping about the lost or, you know, he's mentally in another place. Big Larry call. You talk to him yet? You know what I'm saying? We still have that relationship.
Right.
Because, you know, and I'm going to say it for the world to hear, Foot, he's sensitive. Y'all do know that, right? Right?
Listen,
He's
man.
so sensitive.
Like, dog. Me and bro. Listen, man. Me and this dude go back to 7th grade.
Yeah.
Like, that's how you and me. That's how long me and him go back. So when people say stuff about foot or whatever, and I just sit back like, man, I know this. Listen, I know him in and out.
Yes, sir.
So it don't surprise me how he is now. What it is, I believe me. I know that brother in and out. I just sit back, chill, whatever. But he helped me out a lot, dog.
Because he's genuinely a good dude.
Because he called me every day during COVID. Like me and my wife was like sick, like out of there. She had it. Like we had it. She had it when it first jumped off. But Foot just called me and we started doing Bible study.
Yep.
Like just like that. Like every Thursday he was calling me every day. I had other homies calling me every day. And that helped me out a lot because I was in a bad place because I couldn't help my wife as a man. We want to help our wife, but I couldn't help her. She was going through something that she had to deal with on her own. Only thing I could do was just take care of the kids, do everything else I could. But me and as men, we want to protect whatever. I wanted to get in there like, what you need to do. Let's get this. And it wasn't like that. The door was shut for like 2 weeks. Like, I ain't here for like 2 weeks. Yeah. But I talked to Foot every day, every other day. We was in Bible study. He was sending me scriptures, just all that. So
yeah, but I got to share a story, man, because you know, me growing up, I was anti-Christ. I was anti-Christianity, and a lot of it had to do with the fact that sometimes when we get educated, quotes, you start learning about Osiris being restored to Buddha. Being restored to life before Buddha Christ, and all that. So I was fighting Marlon and Foot left and right. About Christ. And so, although I was spiritually connected, I wasn't a Christian. I wasn't following a Christian, belief systems. But let's go all the way back, man. So it's his bachelor party weekend.
Okay, who?
Right?
Okay, never mind.
Right, no, Foot, right? And so, but listen to this. So, prior to this, like for the Pittsburgh Steelers rookie parties and the Denver, whatever, the entertainment was through, Tandy. Chest sticking out, I own clubs. I got all the little chicks coming and doing all this stuff for the ball players and so forth and so on. And so we're down in Florida. True story, man. And all of the ball players around, Ferry and all them cats are there. And he's like, man, there go Unc. Man, Unc is the only guy y'all know that can take a nurse and get her to come down here and dance. And everybody give him that. Yeah, he the only dude you know that can take a 19-year-old college student and lead her to Florida or wherever to just take it off and do it all. And he said all these different things. And then he looked me right in the eye and said, man, imagine if he led all them sisters to Christ. Bruh, it was like being stabbed in the stomach. And it was the first time in my life that I felt dirty and felt wrong for doing the stuff that I was doing outside of my marriage. And it was because of that statement at that time that I flipped my life totally over to Christ. So a young boy, the young cat, changed me.
But see, yeah, he like Foot go hard, man. So he demands it. Like he go, my mama and sister be listening to us on Bible study.
We got about 7.
So listen, little boy. He said, "Why is Foot so hard? Like, why he's a linebacker coach with a Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Right.
Imagine a linebacker coach trying to
preach it.
Right. Oh, I know that's
He going hard, and his homeboy, Marlon homeboy, he go harder.
Yep.
He yelling, he going hard. You talking about some pistol packing preachers in these streets? Listen,
that's crazy.
They'll whoop you up and tell you. They'll whoop you up and tell you about the Lord.
That's crazy. I know a couple of them too, man. That's
But like I said, in Tandy, like the show, it's about firearm safety education, right? We all firearms. Me and him are firearms instructors, but you carry. But I just wanted to bring another aspect to the game, especially for like black brothers and in our community. Because we always get, oh, you Rambo, you like to do this and all that, and
like John Wick and everything.
John Wick, you Republican, and well, whatever you know. I'm like, no, we carry a firearm because safety. We like to protect ourselves. We support our Second Amendment rights. I just think it's a lack of training and education, regardless if it's firearms or anything in our communities, that we need to get educated.
And I tell people all the time to add to what you just said, KJ. Like, I shoot for sport. I love to shoot. You know what I'm saying? I grew up. Did I show you the picture of me with my granddaddy back in the day? No, I was showing Cyril. I'm gonna pull it up and show you later. You know, it's things that I did. You know what I'm saying, as a kid that I grew up with in the '80s. That you just, man, if somebody tried to do it today, man, it'd be 5-0 in your backyard, all crazy. Like, yo, what y'all doing? But that's different time, different place, whatever. But I grew up, loving to shoot. God forbid I got to actually take somebody's life. But I mean, like used to tell people in my old NRA classes, to quote Tupac, I ain't no killer, but don't push me.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna ask Tanny this, and this just came up. We were talking about this the other day. I'm gonna do some research on it. You came up in the ROTC era, right?
Right.
Okay, so Cody, and you can probably contest to this or let me know. Well, I know this for a fact, as far as Cody, but other schools they had ROTC at Cody.
Yep.
Cody has a gun range in the basement.
Absolutely.
Do they really?
They shoot. They used to train with 22s in the basement.
Absolutely.
Do they really?
Yep.
Wow.
And in the 70s, so I have one of my homeboys. He was a coach for the Broncos. His name Les Perkins.
Is it still there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what he said.
The Cody's building is new. They
Okay,
changed
so I
the
didn't
building,
know.
Right. So
That's right. They did.
that was in
So
the
it's
old
probably
building.
gone.
Correct.
Yeah.
So his daddy was the ROTC instructor for Cody downstairs. He said he used to go down there. But what the wonderful and great thing about it, they was teaching them kids gun safety while they were teaching them a skill set. And they could go to school and get scholarship for that. And I was in amazement because I knew about ROTC, but I didn't know like schools had gun ranges in them.
Yes, they did.
So he kind
Really?
of told me that the reason kind of why it got stopped, but I guess
What did he say? What was the reason?
he said he's like they started protesting, saying that they teaching kids how to they teaching black kids how to arm themselves.
It's ignorant.
Before you answer that, just to add to that, was that the only school that had it, or was it like all the ones that had ROTC had it?
All of the old schools back then had ROTC. Cody wasn't the only one.
I don't know if all of them. I just know.
No, I'm saying that, did they all have
gun
ranges though? Too?
A lot of the schools had.
I just know Cody had a gun
fallout
range.
shelter. So downstairs in the basement. Yeah.
They had sandpit. He said sandpit. They shot 22s, but that was target practice. And I was like, well, what happened? He's like, well, what you think happened? They started probably saying, they was teaching young kids how to shoot safely, and then they was arming themselves. Right. So I mean, just take a guess. I don't know.
That's that liberalness that makes you fight, And I said now, I think I've voted 90% of my votes have been Democratic, but these last few years have made me start thinking. A little different, bro. I might get kicked out the neighborhood.
Can't take it no more.
We tripping. We tripping.
But like I said,
that's another podcast, right?
Hey,
right.
Yeah, right. Like I said, I don't try to. I'm not political, man. I just try to be like what's right and wrong and what's educational to the group, to the community, especially with the young kids today. Just trying to give them game, gun safety, because we've been having a lot of rash of kids getting a hold of firearms, shooting their siblings and all this and that, and just coming up with solutions that can help curb the violence in the neighborhoods. And like you said, more black men stepping up, getting out there, hitting them streets is one way, and not coming off like gangster with them, but coming off in the sense of just being love. Like I like to tell him, I said a lot of these kids need hugs, man.
Man,
they need that They need a transfer of energy from negative to positive. Let me take some of that energy off you. Let me give you some of mine. So, Tanny, I need you to. Is your book on Amazon? Or do you
not anymore? It's kind of in the garage now.
You still got books?
Yeah, I got about 13 left. I bought made a bunch of them, sold them all.
Okay.
I
like to get one, but
I give it to you, but I'm in the process of writing another one.
Okay, so
so
like I said, thanks Tanny for coming on the show, man.
It's a pleasure.
This is the Pop Culture 2 to 3 podcast.
Hey, before you close it out, man, because we can run a couple over,
Oh, you want to add? What you about to add? Something about the
No. You wanna give him a rapid fire like you normally do?
I didn't even. If you got something, I ain't got nothing. I ain't even thinking about it.
Okay.
I asked him a situation that happened in the club that he had to move. He used his power to get him up.
Well, he was the club owner, so I guess
I mean, you know,
ain't no power that's limited. But
hey,
so all right. So what KJ normally do at the end of it before we wrap everything? Sometimes he'll have a two questions or a couple questions. What we do normally, like 5 questions.
mm-hmm.
It's a yes or no, or it's a A or a B.
All right.
So I throw a couple things at you, and you say which one you like better. You know. So just as an example, it's iPhone, Android. That's the example, right? So it's All right. So just rapid fire, quick. Gun, Smith & Wesson or Glock?
Smith & Wesson.
Okay. Beyonce, Rihanna?
Beyonce.
Tampa or Pittsburgh?
Tampa.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Okay.
Okay. So we'll keep it sports there. Jordan or LeBron?
Jordan.
Okay.
I don't think nobody that era gonna go against Jordan.
I'm trying to find somebody. That's why I asked.
Well, you could have said Jordan or Kobe.
Nah, because that's not that's like asking KJ or KJ Jr. or Bear Jr. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, but I'm gonna tell you this. LeBron there.
Yeah.
I think he need to
LeBron
retire.
there. Yeah.
I think he need to go ahead and retire.
And the last one, man, what's a good one for you? Okay. So just to give basis, this is dealing with, like we said, from the club scene.
All right.
Rather deal with.
Rather, that's what you should have said.
Right. Rather deal with basketball players or football players.
Man, football players. Yeah.
Okay.
All day, man. My football guys come in, they cool.
Okay.
Cool.
I got
But
you.
I'm gonna tell you this, not say the name, man.
That was 5, but yeah, go ahead.
I got one.
Derek Coleman, man, was one of the best customers we had. I love DC.
Yeah, because he bought everybody in the hood had Air Force Ones or Jimmies, and then he went to the club.
DC can
I
take
know,
care of
I know
everybody.
we overtime, man, but Derek Coleman made your boy Puff Daddy tuck his tail and leave out my club.
Wait a minute. You should have started off the show with that, bro. Time out. You got to tell that story, bro.
Hey, look, bro.
Okay, just tell some.
Puffy came to the club and was like,
Time
all
out.
drinks on me.
Time out. This is going on. It's all across the world.
I could care less.
Okay.
It's the truth. All right?
Start over. Okay, time out. Puffy
ain't nobody about to come check us about it. I can tell you that for sure.
Hey.
Puffy had an event at the club that is going to be free drinks for everybody. He bought out the bar, right?
What club is this?
Club Network.
I can almost guess what time or what year this was, because I kind of remember that.
Derek Coleman and his boys came in and was ordering some liquor from Top Shelf. And the bartenders told him the only liquor you can have is the well liquor. Derek said, what? He's like, man, brothers from the D don't drink that, and came up to the mic, stared at me, Tandy, give me the mic. I was like, Derek, no, man. He was like, Tandy, man, I need the mic. And, he ain't got to stand up. He
Right,
my
he high level.
Right.
At
In the
the DJ booth, right.
Tandy, give me the mic. Here, Derek. Man, all liquor on me. Whatever you want to drink other than champagne. Forget this cheap broke.
Forget this cheap broke.
Mother.
Come on, Pete.
Yeah.
Because he buying champagne. Why? Because he buying champagne?
No, because he wouldn't you couldn't get a Hennessy. You couldn't get a Ciroc.
Nothing.
You couldn't get nothing that was shelf liquor.
Yeah.
Everything was the stuff that you have in the wells.
Right.
And so Derek bought out the bar and Puffy left.
You bought the whole bar.
He bought out the whole
It was
bar.
like, you want to buy the Top Shelf? Cool, I'm
Whatever you want,
I'm buying
other than
everything.
champagne. You can't order Cristal. You can't order Moet. But if you want a VSOP, if you want Ciroc, you can have it. It's on me now. And we was like, let's do it.
Hey, you know what's funny?
Shout out to DC, man.
Man, my sister and them is real cool with they people. Like Derek and them. I was over there when they like that over there on the 12th Street or whatever they live at. They had 2 houses connected together.
Connected to each other. Yeah.
And I used to always want to go over there and hoop, but they would never let me do it because I was a young boy. But like my sister and his sister Red and them, they tight like sisters,
Man,
man.
Derek is nothing. He a good dude. Man. He's
Yeah.
just a
Hey,
good guy.
Yeah,
man.
So-
he's the dude. Yeah.
Dang,
Yeah.
Tandy.
Yeah,
We gotta
man.
have you back and tell some more stories. We might get 100 views, 1 million views with that one. But man, like I said, thanks. Oh, let me ask you. Rather, men or women in the club? Would you rather deal with when it comes to the issue?
Wow, now that's a good one, man. Women.
Really?
Because let me tell you something, man. When bruhs go off, they go off.
But it's been right now. It's kind of like on the flip side. I heard right now, women in the club be
Yeah,
clowning.
But can I tell you something, man? When women going off in the club, man, you got the right security guys. They can put them in that little lock and they gone.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
They can get them out of there.
That's
when
true.
guys go off
Nah,
and
yeah,
it's going off,
yeah.
you got a problem.
Yeah, that's true. That's
You
true.
got a problem. And all them years that we've been down there, man, we only had one crazy night. And it was crazy. And it took forever
Sure.
to cool it out, man. It was some 12th Street boys and some BMF guys or whatever. And man, them dudes was going
Got
at
another
it.
story to tell.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm talking, man, it was a long time.
So BMF they came through there.
Yeah, and normally, man, great dudes. And when I say great dudes, now let me clarify, they never had issues when they came in that spot. Man, the club network, man, none of these dudes came in and messed up. And I think it was one of those situations where they deemed that place to be
A nice
sacred.
spot. Right.
You know, so they didn't act a fool.
Man,
when they came in.
see, man. We definitely going to have him back for another show if you want to go that route.
He hit me with the P. Diddy and Derek Coleman. I was like, God.
but no,
and I know he know a lot.
Yeah, but and that's what I'm saying. Because dog, like I said, I know we do got to rap, but because dog, we'll be here another hour talking them stories. Because man, like you said, like I remember, like I said, that's why I said jokingly, but saying my mom, because while my mom's older, but I just remember being as a kid, you know, knowing that club, even when it was whoever owned it before you did, has always been.
Yeah, when it was Elon.
Yeah, that has
Elon's
always
before
been a
us.
premier club
Yeah.
where it's like you don't just go to the network, you know, so you don't just go to that spot.
And then you know what was
I'm saying?
crazy?
Like the average Joe ain't about to just run up
Right.
in there and be like, hey man, no, you can, but it ain't, you know what I'm saying?
I didn't know when BMF would be in there. I didn't know nothing about that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And they was in there. We knew the bar revenue was super high. You know what I'm saying? When they were in there, but they never came in tripping. They just never did, man. And with Derek Coleman, he always had any of his guys in check, right? And so all of those years down there, man, and God just blessed us. We never had a shooting. We never had nothing crazy inside of the building.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All of those years.
Yeah.
And when you look at who was in there,
Right. And that's
You know
what
what I'm saying?
that's
Like-
man, look,
Well, let me say this.
We can for real go.
We was supposed to be in there, not in there. I ain't going to say, but you know.
yeah.
I can tell you early 2000s. This was probably like 2003-ish or something
That's
like
when
that.
we were banging.
Around the time of the remember the blackout, right?
Yep.
So it was right around then. I was living downtown on Washington. Charlie was still going and
Yep.
you know whatever, right? Showing our age and stuff. And like I just remember my wife, then girlfriend, her one of her cousins stayed upstairs, and we was chilling, and Mike was like, "Yo, you want to go hang?" I'm like, shoot, Mike, yes, you know, whatever, you know. And that's where we went, and I'm like,
Yes, sir.
"You going to the network?
Let me get my gauges up.
Man, we made
You finna get me in the network? Oh, that's what we. Oh, okay. Because we walked. Like I said, you know where I said around on Washington
on
Boulevard right
Washington,
there.
yep.
We literally thought we walked, and it was like 5 minutes we was there, and I'm like, man, no, that's where we going. Oh, well, like
And I
you said,
began, we didn't care who
I done
you
got
were. You had to
fresher.
dress.
Yeah, I
You
done
had
got
to dress.
fresher than what I was. Like what the
And now the clubs is just letting everybody in.
Oh my goodness, man.
man.
I don't even know what it's called now.
You say you still
I've been there since.
you own a
since-
building
since it
downtown
changed.
or another?
Yeah, I own the building where Savannah Blue, the restaurant is. That's
still
my
own
building.
it?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
Yep.
So Savannah Blue, the restaurant. I gotta go
yep.
check it
And
out.
Willow is the bar that's downtown. That's under
Under it.
Savannah. Yep. So it's a speakeasy on the first floor, and a very nice restaurant upstairs. And the gentleman that own it is Ron Scott, Roger Yap, and and John Simpson, and they do a great job.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like I said, he still got connections down there.
All right, man, yeah, let's go ahead and wrap this, man. Like I said, we'll be here all day.
Yeah, I like to tell people I was at the network. They was like, "You was where?" Hey man, I got capital connections.
I told you.
I got capital
I'm telling you,
connections.
we
in
gonna
these
wrap this,
streets.
but I told you as soon as that happened, I guess we was at last night, man. I was at the network. What? You was where?
At the network. That's funny. But like I said, man, Tandy, thanks for coming out, man. Showing the support. I know you was a busy man. I was like, this man Tandy don't call, man. He ain't texting. I was just like, Jesus. But
Set the time I was gonna be here, brother.
so like I said, thanks for coming out, man.
Appreciate it, man.
And especially showing giving game, and like I said, we're gonna post it everywhere so people can hear what you're saying. Cause like I said, I always admired your game, especially the stuff you did with the kids, and just commanding respect from the young black brothers that you coached and continue to coach and mentor through the game. I just think that's needed more and more,
Yes, sir.
especially out here. And I'm mad. I'm upset with myself, and I just tore the whole name up. God, I called it books, Bible, and whatever.
Right.
But it was God, books, and ball.
Yes, sir.
And you gave us a definition what that is, and talked about it. So I'm gonna be posting it. Just people can hear it, man. So
Appreciate it.
that's it from us. Game recognize game. We recognize you, so please recognize us. And we out.
Yo.